At this very moment, millions of gallons of oil are spilling into the Gulf and washing up on our shores. My guest this hour will spend the next 5 minutes talking about what Washington can do to help. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Tranum. As always, thank you very much for joining us. My guest this hour is Senator Robert Menendez, Democrat from New Jersey. Senator, welcome.
Great to be with you.
So as we speak, there are millions of gallons that are washing up on the Gulf shore. Hopefully, it will not reach New Jersey. But let's talk for a few moments about what New Jerseyans are doing as we speak right now to perhaps not have this problem wash up on the shores.
Well, 22 coastal senators in the United States Senate joined me in calling upon our federal agencies to make sure that we're interacting with state emergency response teams and the governors of those states to be prepared. Because we should, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And hopefully none of this ever happens. But if you look at the loop current that can bring, waters from the Gulf through Florida and then moving upwards towards North Carolina, you think about the hurricane season that is soon upon us, and you just cannot take for granted that it will not happen. And so whether that is making sure that we're ready for the possibilities of the deployment of vessels, skimmers, booms, all that we have found to actually be helpful in the Gulf, and from that experience, to make sure that we are ready should we need to deploy them. And at the same time, this issue really goes beyond even just being ready. It goes to the whole question of making sure that big oil, in this case BP, is ultimately held fully responsible. And while we've made some progress in that respect, the law that exists right now says that a company like BP would only face a $75 million liability cap. Well, BP made more than $94 million a day in the first quarter of this year. Profits, not proceeds, profits. So we think that that liability cap should be raised to unlimited liability so that, in fact, should there be a consequence to anywhere outside of the Gulf, that not only will the Gulf residents be made whole, but any other state that's affected.
Senator, most people, when they think of the beach, they think of, oh yeah, hot dogs, ice cream, the whole 9 yards. They obviously see the sand, but most people do not realize that in New Jersey specifically, it's a $50 billion a year industry. And it's not just the beaches, it's all of the industries that support the coastal communities, no?
Absolutely. $50 billion is our coastal economy. Just for one state. Think of all the other states that have coastline economies as well. And so what does that mean? That means the commercial fishing industry. It means the recreational fishing industry. It means all of the tourism industry. What does that mean? That means the restaurants, the boardwalk, the hotels. Look at the property values along coastal states like New Jersey. And so you bring all of that together, it's one of the major drivers of New Jersey's economy and a major driver for coastal communities along the Atlantic as well as the Pacific. And that's why it also speaks to not only being prepared so we don't affect that economy, but also looking about our policies longer term. Should we really have offshore drilling off the Atlantic coast?
Which you're against,
which I am against and have always been against, because the Energy Information Administration, the federal entity that tells us what's out there, tells us that if we drilled up and down the East Coast, up and down the West Coast, in parts of the Gulf where we haven't, and in parts of the Arctic where we haven't, we'd get about 3% more oil. Well, at the end of the day, we consume 25% of the world's oil. Seems to me that we shouldn't take risks like we're having in the Gulf for 3% more, which would be a drop in the bucket, just not even affect the gasoline prices, but put at risk multi-billion-dollar coastal economies.
Senator, in the 20 seconds that we have left, should folks in New Jersey, should they continue to go to the shore? Should they continue to get in their cars and be a part of the $50 billion economy?
Absolutely. And the Jersey beaches are beautiful, the water's great, and we're going to be vigilant to keep it that way.
And very quickly, is there anything that folks at home can do right now besides go to the shore?
Hopefully they can make their advocacy to say we want to change to a clean energy economy. Let's get away from these fossil fuels of the 19th century. Let's move to the 21st century new renewable energy.
Senator Menendez from New Jersey, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you as always for joining us for this edition of Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Tranum. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care.